Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whether or Not. We'll be recapping the severe weather that passed through our state on Tuesday, as well as talking about climate change's impacts on your health here in Pennsylvania. Patrick also has a feature on taking pictures of the beautiful fall foliage. Whether or Not starts right now. Hello and welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Jacob Morse.
And I'm your forecaster, Bree Guy.
So, Bree, it's looking like those above average temperatures will stick around for this weekend, right?
Yes, it is going to be a fantastic weekend, and there isn't a game, so you can go out and enjoy the higher temperatures and relax a little bit. And we're going to have a nice break from the humidity as well, so it's going to be an enjoyable weekend.
Looking forward to that. But first, here's Nature in the News.
With the ever-changing industrial evolution of the world, there is proof of how some bad things can stick around for a long time and have long-term consequences. Decades ago, chemicals as a result of fracking were dumped into Pennsylvania's Allegheny River and is still spreading and piling up in fresh bodies of water downstream. Penn State University researchers have found a rise in strontium concentrations near a previous disposal site in northern west part of the state. Health risks are still unclear. However, it is known that exposure to non-radioactive strontium can cause negative impacts on bone growth in children. Also, the fact that it is still accumulating means that it is now in the food chain. The strontium has been found in mussels in the river, and many animals eat these. The survival rate of these mussels has also decreased significantly from 80 to 100% to just 20 to 50%. Between 2008 and 2011, over 2.9 billion liters of oil and gas were dumped into the waterways in Pennsylvania and were only stopped when it was realized that it was entering sediment in drinking water. Since, researchers have noticed a gradual buildup of the radioactive chemicals and that even when turned off can have lasting negative impacts.
Calgary, Canada was cleaning up this week after a record-breaking snowstorm blanketed the city on Tuesday, giving Calgary a harsh taste of winter to start the month of October. The 13 inches of snow that Calgary received broke two separate weather records. First, it shattered the daily weather record for snowfall on October 2nd in Calgary, which was previously only 1.8 inches. It also broke the record for the most snow on any day of October, which was previously 11.8 inches, set back in 1914. Calgary didn't get the highest snowfall totals from this storm, however, as towns west of Calgary picked up almost 2 feet of snow on Tuesday. 30 plows from the city of Edmonton were sent down to Calgary to help clean up from the snowstorm. Here in central Pennsylvania, we typically have to wait until mid to late November for our first measurable snowfall.
As rising temperatures continue to hang over our heads, emergency nursing experts who recently presented at the National Emergency Nurses Association conference in Pittsburgh are concerned about the health issues associated with climate change. The major issues arise from the small particles of pollen, dust, smog, and liquid that have increased in our atmosphere. This is especially an issue in Pennsylvania because of the coal-fired power plants. Some of the risks that have come along with this are cardiac and respiratory diseases, particularly a concern for asthma sufferers. Also, rising temperatures could put more people at risk for kidney and other organ damages, especially people who work physically demanding outdoor jobs. A retired emergency medicine nurse even compared it to cooking the organs and decreasing their functionality. These healthcare experts are highly concerned and have stated that people with high risk have to now heavily rely on them and that they have become a health safety net for many people.
Tuesday in Pennsylvania will go down in the record books as a historic day for severe weather, as officials are still sifting through the reports to determine the extent of the damages that were felt across the state. A severe weather event this late in the year is very rare. Unseasonably mild temperatures and peaks of sunshine throughout the day provided the fuel necessary to spawn these storms, and increased wind shear, or the change in wind speed and direction with height, allowed the thunderstorms to rotate and develop into tornadoes. A tornado watch was issued at around 3 p.m. for the majority of the state, and it wasn't too long after that when the first tornado warnings were issued in the northwestern portions of the Commonwealth. At around 6:30 p.m., 6 separate areas of the state had tornado warnings ranging from extreme southwestern Pennsylvania to the northeastern parts of Pennsylvania near Scranton. In total, 32 tornado warnings were issued on Tuesday across the state, with the most tornado warnings being issued in a month in Pennsylvania since the summer of 1998. As of Wednesday evening, the National Weather Service offices in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and State College have confirmed 6 tornadoes, with 3 of them being rated EF2. More potential tornado tracks are still being assessed across the state.
Hello, I'm Bree Guy with your weekend forecast, and let me tell you, it will be a spectacular weekend for this time of year. This cold front has moved out of our area, and with it, those severe storms that happened earlier on in the week, and trailing it is this high pressure system that will be bringing more sunny skies, higher temperatures, and we will be getting a break from the humidity for a few days. This high pressure system will also be holding at bay those showers that are happening in the northern plains. By Saturday, it does move right over us. More mild temperatures. Clouds do start to build, but this is the beginning of our warming trend. And then by Sunday, temperatures will be in the mid to high 70s. The humidity does return, but overall still a very warm and comfortable weekend. By Friday, though, we will have a high of 67, more mild and seasonable temperatures. Clouds do start to build by Friday night. We'll be hitting a low of 58, so still not too cold for this time of year. And then by Saturday, though, we will be back up to 70, a nice comfortable temperature for this time of year. Clouds will start to build in. That will last throughout the weekend, the rest of the weekend. And then by Sunday, though, we'll be hitting a high of 77. The humidity will come back, but overall still a very enjoyable weekend to go out and enjoy just before fall starts to officially feel like it has arrived. But it will be arriving soon, and Patrick does have a feature on how you can capture the essence of the changing colors for this time of year.
The first week of October has come and gone. That means extravagant fall foliage should be just around the corner. According to the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources and the Department of Tourism, Pennsylvania is known around the globe for its fall beauty. Millions come from around the world to experience what the mountains, rivers, and the windy rural roads have to offer during the season. That just leaves one thing. How are you and I supposed to capture this fall beauty around us with just our smartphone? Before we can get into the ins and outs of taking great pictures, we need to figure out what the current state of the fall foliage in PA looks like. Currently, the fall foliage outlook has a few reports of color coming in from the northern portions of Pennsylvania as of this past week, and is expected to ramp up in the next few weeks for most of the state. However, the weather this year may have had a toll on the overall vibrancy of the foliage due to the warm and very wet last few weeks. But don't fear. If you are determined to find the perfect shot, and if you are willing to search, the scenery should not disappoint in the near future. Now that we know what to expect in terms of the fall foliage this year, the first tip that photographers give would be to avoid direct sunlight. With direct sunlight coming down on the foliage, the colors may get washed out in your pictures, lessening the vibrancy of the color in the picture itself. The best time to try and take a fall foliage picture would be at sunrise or sunset, allowing the sunlight to travel through the atmosphere longer. This will help the colors pop in the photo. If you can't do a sunrise or sunset, then try somewhere in the shade. The next tip that photographers have would be to try and avoid the wide mountainside shots. It may be wonderful to look at in person, but a smartphone camera may not pick up the detail of the color from a distance. Try and get a little closer to the tree or trees and focus on the immediate flora, whether it is a single leaf, tree, or a grove. Another tip would be to not forget about the fruit. Maybe find a pumpkin patch, basket of apples, grapes, or a squash to enhance the essence of the image, adding another taste of fall to the scenery. Also, maybe try waiting for a fresh morning dew or a post-rainfall scene to add a little sparkle to the picture when the sun comes out. After all, it is fall, and the world gets a fresh coat of moisture each morning to complement the fall scenery and crisp air, making your pictures that much better. Lastly, get creative. The world is full of wonder waiting to be captured on camera. There is much more than just trees that look amazing in this time of year. Maybe try a different angle when taking the picture, or not use the tree at all, and just focus on a leaf or two on the ground. But whatever you decide, amazing pictures will capture the world in a way that has not been seen before. But whatever you do, try and avoid zooming in. When you zoom into the object with a smartphone camera, the zoom option is a digital zoom rather than a typical lens movement. This will risk distorting the image when finally taken, losing a decent amount of pixels and therefore quality of the picture. As long as you're staying safe while taking your fall foliage pictures, they should turn out just fine. But first, before we send it over to the next segment in whether or not, here are a few more basic tips while getting your phone ready for fall foliage pictures. Make sure to bring your phone charger because your phone camera will use your battery fairly quickly, and therefore you want to keep it charged up and ready to go if you find any extraordinary shots later on in your excursion. But also try and take the picture in landscape mode, so not vertical but sideways, so that way your pictures can come out full and can be well seen on the other end on social media or on TV. On Whether or Not, I'm Patrick Wright.
Hello, I'm Bree Guy back with your extended forecast, but first, just a quick weekend recap. Temperatures will be on the rise, almost 10 degrees above the normal by Sunday. Friday, though, we'll have a high of 67, just dropping down to 58. However, we'll be back up to 70 on Saturday, and not dropping below 60, which is a nice change for this time of year. And then by Sunday, though, we'll be in the mid to high 70s. So it's going to be a very warm weekend for this time of year, so go out and enjoy. We will get a nice break from the humidity, and it will be back on Sunday, but overall still a very enjoyable weekend. But going into next week, this warming trend will continue with temperatures staying in the mid to high 70s throughout the middle of the weekend, not dropping until Friday. There are a few chances for a few scattered showers Thursday and Friday. However, most of the week is looking to be clear and enjoyable, so go out and enjoy those unseasonable temperatures for this time of year.
So, Bree, it looks like those above average temperatures will continue not just for this weekend, but into the first half of next week as well.
Yes, we are going to be much above normal, especially for this time of year, now that fall has officially come. And I'm definitely going to take Patrick up on those lessons on how to take beautiful fall foliage pictures because I'm lacking in that area.
I would also love to go out and take some beautiful fall foliage pictures before it gets too cold. Our first frost might be coming up. We asked a question earlier in the show. What is the average date of the first fall freeze in State College, Pennsylvania? Was it A, October 1st, B, October 11th, C, October 21st, or D, November 1st? If you guessed B, October 11th, you were correct.
On average, the first fall freeze occurs around the middle of the month for the central and south central portions of the state, while areas to the north and west of State College see temperatures dip below 32 degrees for the first time during the fall around the beginning of October.
It should also be noted that there is a difference between a frost and a freeze. The National Weather Service issues frost advisories when air temperatures are still typically above freezing, but a frost is still possible at the ground. Freeze warnings are issued when temperatures are expected to fall below 32 degrees, which ends the growing season for most plants.
Wow, October 11th is coming so soon, but with temperatures on the rise, it may not happen around the average time for this year, so that's exciting.
You might be waiting a little bit longer for that first freeze.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Jacob Morse.
And I'm your forecaster, Bree Guy.
Have a great day, everyone.